going on, everyone? Tech Me Out here, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you what is on my iPhone. So a few weeks ago I released a what is on my Android video, and in that video I told you that you could expect a what is on my iPhone video. So today I'm going to be delivering that, even though it's a little bit later than I anticipated. So I'm gonna give you a heads up, I'm not gonna dive into every little detail of my phone, as that would make an exceptionally long video because I have a ton of apps. But despite that, you'll still be able to see pretty much every app on my phone. So for those of you that are curious in regards to the actual phone that I have, I'm currently rocking the iPhone 6s Plus 64GB model, the gold version. And as far as protection, I'm currently rocking this case by Case Crown, which I absolutely love, so you can't expect to hear more about this in the near future. Nonetheless, I am in love with this case. It has a nice feeling hand overall, and it is not bulky because I am not a fan of bulky cases. But I don't have any protection on the front of my phone, so all I have is the case as I mentioned. Now in regards to software, I'm running iOS 9.0.2. I am jailbroken, but in this video, I'm not gonna be diving into my tweaks. I'm actually gonna just be focusing primarily on the applications on my phone. So right now I'm going to mirror what I'm seeing on my phone. That way it's a little bit easier for all of you to follow along in regards to what I'm seeing. So in taking a look at my lock screen here, I currently am rocking a wallpaper featuring Lil Wayne right now. It was actually an animated GIF, and I just took a screenshot of it and made it my wallpaper. But in the event that you want it as well, I'm going to link it down below in the description box. That way you can download. But aside from that, let's go ahead and unlock my phone. So the setup that I'm currently running here is basically two pages. I have my main apps on the first page, and on my second page I have some folders, plus some apps that I want quick access to there as well. But like I said, I'm not going to show everything, but I'm going to talk about specific apps that I guess you could consider my favorite applications. So starting with the one on the first row, Spotify. So this is my go-to music application. So I do have the paid membership with Spotify. I tried the free version, wasn't a fan, and moved back to the paid version because it pretty much gave me everything I wanted, to the point that I don't have to purchase music. So you have a browse section which helps you discover new songs. You also have the option to build your own library and save albums or songs for offline playback so that you don't have to consume your data. It's just a really nice layout with a lot of great features, and I definitely suggest you check it out if you have not already. Moving on from there, I like to use Google Keep to pretty much keep all of my notes. I'm not going to open it up as I don't want to show all of my notes right now, but it has the kind of layout of stickies. So if you can imagine a bunch of stickies neatly placed on your phone, that is what Google Keep is if you have never heard of it, and it's definitely worth checking out as well. In conjunction with that, I do use Google Drive as well as iCloud Drive and Dropbox to store some of my documents and things that I want accessed on all of my devices. I like to use Amazon to do a lot of my shopping, and if you aren't aware of my top Amazon deals video, then you might want to check them out, as I discuss pretty much a lot of great deals that are currently offered on Amazon, or just some really cool products that are worth checking out. That as well can be found down below in the description box and annotated within the video. So when it comes to tracking packages, my go-to application is Deliveries right here. I like to come in here and check on the status of where my packages are in regards to the city, as well as the length of time before it actually gets here. So this is a paid app, but it's worth every penny, and it's also offered for the Mac as well, so that everything can sync up regardless of what device you're on. So I have a few go-to weather applications, one being Yahoo Weather, and then if I venture onto the second page in my travel folder, here are a few other applications that I like to use for weather, which are Dark Sky and Weather Nerd. Now I like Dark Sky for its alert options, so pretty much anytime it's about to rain outside, I get a notification, not only to my phone, but to my watch as well. That way I can best prepare before I head out. So hopping out of there and moving back to my first page. Other than those, I like to use Google Maps as my default navigation application, and Snapchat to pretty much stay in touch with all of you. Shameless plug over here for my Snapchat. And for anyone that's curious what type of lights I'm using back here, those are Hue lights, and that is the purpose of the Hue application down here in the bottom right. I also use Creator Studio, which is to the left of that. That way I can stay in better touch with all of you. And then moving down to the bottom center in my dock, I have Fantastical. That is what I use for my calendar application. And I like it because it pretty much shows me my week at a glance, and it gives me the little dots on the calendar that actually match the calendars. So I am the person that has that personal calendar that's one color, a work calendar that's another color. So to see those dots up in the month section means a lot to me. So being that Fantastical gives me that option, that's one of the main reasons why I like it. So sliding on to my second page here and starting with the first folder, my photography folder, these are all the apps that I like to use when it comes to taking pictures. No, I do not use every last one of them, but at some point in time, these were the apps that I did use. So out of these, the ones that I use the most would be Enlight and Visco. Enlight gives you a lot of editing capabilities in terms of just a ton of different things that you can do with your photos, more than I can mention right now, but definitely check it out. While on the other hand, Visco is like the watered down version of that, but I like it because of the options being simplified, but yet still advanced, and also because of the layout. Camu is pretty cool as well, and so is Over. Those are two that are worth mentioning. So sliding out of there and moving on to my videography folder. I don't use all the apps here either, but these are the apps that I use when I'm doing like, you know, recording a video with my phone. One of them in particular that I really like is Camcorder because it gives you this little VHS type feel of what you're recording. As you can see, it has little static lines appearing, which is what you see on pretty much any VHS. You have the date and the time down there. And it's really cool, and I believe it was free, so definitely a win. Moving on out of there, I have my travel folder. I already mentioned a couple of things in here, but two applications that I didn't mention that I use a lot of here are Urban Spoon and Fandango. Urban Spoon is what I use when I want to know restaurants that are nearby and what people think of them and what they serve and, you know, the price range of their meals and stuff like that. Yes, I am a foodie. Moving down to the bottom row, we have Fandango. This is what I like to use to find out some popular movies that are playing, also where they're playing at and the times that they're playing. And occasionally I may use this to go ahead and buy a ticket, especially if it's a movie that I think might sell out. So beside my travel folder, I have my jailbreak folder. These are a couple of applications that I have in regards to my jailbreak. I like to put them in one central area. Beneath that, I have my social folder. So for those of you that are curious what social sites I'm on, they're gonna all be listed down below in the description box. But the ones that I'm most active on are Snapchat, Instagram, and Twitter. And yes, in that order. However, like I said, I'm on more than that. You can find them down below. And then in my shopping folder, these are the apps that I like to use to shop with on my phone. One in particular that I want to point out is the Nice app down here at the bottom. I recently did a video on the top tech under 100 and how you could try those tech items out for free. Now, if you happen to miss that, I'm going to put it within the video as well so that you can check it out, and I'm also going to link it down below. But ultimately, with this particular app, you can try a ton of tech products out for free, and if you like them, you can buy them. If not, you can return them at no additional charge. Definitely worth checking out. I am in the work of getting my product recommendations that I've done in the past and that I will also be doing in the future within this one app. That way you pretty much have my product recommendations in one central area. And not only would you have them in one central area, but you would also have the opportunity to try some out before you buy them and formulate your own personal opinion of what you think of the product before you actually spend your money on it. So I think that's pretty cool. Moving on to the right of that, we have my email and task folder. I don't use everything in here, but the things that I use most frequently are Pocket and Feedly. Pocket is where I put websites and things that I don't per se want to bookmark, but I do want to keep for later viewing. And Feedly is where I go for all the latest tech news of things that are relevant to me. I then have my utilities folder. 1Password is what I like to use to store my passwords in. And Nighttime is what I like to use as my bedside clock. So this is what I put up when I want to have a clock beside the bed because I currently don't have one. And then I have my health folder, which doesn't get used a lot. So we're just gonna slide on up out of there. And then I have my design folder. A lot of you ask where I get my wallpapers from. 9 times out of 10, it came from this wallpapers application here, or I simply searched it on Google. And then I have my music folder, my games folder, and then that folder that has the apps that I don't really use. So no need to really look in there. Then in this next folder is my home tech folder. So these are things that I can control from my phone, such as Zoli, which is an adapter you can plug anything into and have control over from your phone. And the Zeus and Nadi are things that I've talked about in the past. If you're curious about what it does, once again, the description box, I'll have that information down below for you. And then I have my finance folder, which of course explains itself. And aside from that, the other thing that I will mention is this voice recording application. It's called Voice Record Pro, and it's actually what I use when I use my lav mic. So I sometimes get questions on my audio setup, and what I'm using right now is a lav mic. I'm not pairing it to this phone, but I am pairing it to my iPod, which is also on me, and this is the application I use. I like this app because of the advanced controls that it gives you, such as adjusting the gain, which some of these apps don't give you, and then also for its sharing capability. capabilities. So this is a recording I've done in the past, and I have all these different ways that I could go about getting this recording. And the one I like to use is saving it to iCloud, but you could put it to Dropbox, Google Drive, OneDrive. You can send it via Bluetooth to the device that you want it on. There's just so many options, and it is definitely worth checking out. And yeah, that's pretty much all the apps that I'm going to talk about at this point. I feel like the video is already long enough, and ultimately you got the opportunity to see what I'm running on my iPhone, so you can pause it on anything that interests you that I didn't talk about, or ask me about it down below in the comment section. But if you enjoyed this what's on my iPhone video, then definitely let me know by hitting that like button. But before I get out of here, I want to give a huge shout out to those of you that showed up for the notification squad roll call in my last video. So in my last video, I put a comment that said notification roll call, where you at? And a couple of you actually commented back and things. So I just want to give a big thank you to, let me get it, Chris Lee, Sepentanta Pagami, Execution, and Her Souls. And speaking of Her Souls, if you haven't seen her YouTube channel and you want some hot reviews on some shoes, and by shoes I mean like the latest, hottest, hard to find sneakers, then you definitely want to check her channel out. I'm gonna link that down below. Her shoe game is crazy. Definitely a must see. But nonetheless, that's gonna sum this video up. So Team TMO, show up and show out down below for me. Share the video to anybody that you think might be able to use some iPhone apps on their device. And as always, thanks for taking the time out to let me tech you out.